AITA for admitting that I'm still upset my wife didn't let me into the delivery room. My son was born 3 months ago on October 17th. And while becoming a dad has been one of the most incredible experiences of my life, I can't seem to shake this lingering sense of hurt and resentment towards my wife. I've been trying to focus on the joy of fatherhood, but this wound still feels fresh, and honestly, I don't know how to move past it. For context, I'm 24M and my wife, 28F, and I had always talked about having kids. From the start of our relationship, we were on the same page. We wanted 3 kids, a big family, and we agreed on how we'd handle parenting milestones, including the birth itself. We talked about it more seriously when we started trying for a baby. I made it clear how important it was for me to be there in the delivery room, to hold her hand, to support her through it, and to see our child come into the world. She was completely on board. I know childbirth isn't about me. It's about her and her comfort, and I've always understood that. But she told me she wanted me there. She promised me I'd be there. But as we got closer to her due date, things changed. About 6 weeks before she was due, she sat me down and told me she didn't want me in the delivery room anymore. Instead, she wanted her mom and sister there with her. At first, I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. I asked her why. I asked if I'd done something to make her uncomfortable, if she was worried about something, or if there was something she wasn't telling me. But all she said was, "I'm the one giving birth, and I get to decide who's there. You need to accept that." I tried to stay calm. I reminded her of all the times we'd talked about this, all the times she'd reassured me that I'd be there. I told her how much it meant to me, not just to see our son being born, but to be there for her, to hold her hand, to tell her she was strong, to let her know she wasn't alone. But she doubled down. No explanation, no discussion, just a hard no. We argued about it multiple times over the next few weeks. I kept asking her to explain why she'd changed her mind, and she kept shutting me down. It wasn't even the fact that she'd made the decision that hurt the most. It was that she refused to let me understand why. She said things like, "This isn't about you. You're being selfish. You need to trust me and let me handle this how I want." I backed off eventually because I didn't want to stress her out in the final weeks of her pregnancy. I told myself, she's the one giving birth. This isn't about me. Just let it go. But deep down, it still hurt. Then came the day, October 17th. I wasn't allowed in the room. I waited in the hospital lobby, pacing, texting her sister for updates, trying not to let the anxiety eat me alive. Hours passed, and I had no idea what was going on. Was she okay? Was our son okay? Were there complications? Finally, her mom came out carrying my son. She handed him to me, and in that moment, everything else faded away. He was perfect, absolutely perfect. But as the minutes ticked by, the realization crept in. I'd missed it. I missed his first cry. I missed seeing him take his first breath. I missed holding her hand through the hardest thing she's probably ever done. I walked into the room after everything was over. My wife looked exhausted but happy. She smiled weakly at me, and I smiled back because I didn't want her to see how much it hurt. I kissed her forehead, told her she was incredible, and focused on our son. A few days later, when we were home and settled, I gently brought it up. I asked her again, "Why didn't you want me there? Please, just tell me. I need to understand." That's when she told me the truth. She said she was afraid I'd lose attraction to her if I saw her in such a vulnerable state. She'd seen stories online of husbands who couldn't look at their wives the same way after witnessing childbirth, and she didn't want to risk that happening to us. She also mentioned how dangerous childbirth can be and said she didn't want the added stress of worrying about how I was handling it if something went wrong. I was stunned, like genuinely stunned. First of all, the idea that she thought I would stop loving her, stop being attracted to her, over something as incredible as childbirth felt like a slap in the face. I've loved her through everything, the highs, the lows, the messiness, and the struggles. I've never been anything but supportive. Second, if something had gone wrong, wouldn't she have wanted me there? Wouldn't she have wanted me by her side? I told her how much it hurt that she didn't trust me, that she made this massive decision based on assumptions instead of talking to me about her fears. I could have reassured her. I could have told her she had nothing to worry about. She apologized. She said she was sorry, but it was done now, and we couldn't change it. She told me I needed to let it go, but I can't. It feels like there's this shadow over what should be one of the happiest memories of my life. I'll never get that moment back. I'll never get to see my son come into the world, and every time I think about it, it stings all over again. I've been trying to move on, but it's been hard. And honestly, I've been burying it because I didn't want to start another argument. But then Christmas came around. She noticed I was distant, quieter than usual. So the day after Christmas, she asked me if I was still upset about missing the birth. I told her the truth. Yes, I'm still upset. I'm trying, but it still hurts. That was the wrong answer, apparently. She got defensive. She said I was blaming her, that I was making her feel like a bad person, and that I was being unfair. I tried to explain that I wasn't blaming her. I was just trying to be honest about how I felt. But she twisted my words and said, "You're proving my point. You have lost attraction to me, haven't you?" I told her that wasn't true at all. I still love her, I still find her beautiful, and nothing about childbirth changed that. But she wouldn't hear me. The argument escalated, and eventually I suggested couples therapy. I told her I think we need help working through this because I don't want this hurt to keep building up. She refused. She said I'm the one with the problem, so I'm the one who needs therapy. I told her that therapy only works if both people are committed to it, if both people want to move forward. She just shook her head and told me she wasn't going. Now, she's barely speaking to me unless it's about our son. The silent treatment has been going on for days, and honestly, I feel like I'm being punished for being honest about my feelings she asked me to share. I'm exhausted. I'm hurt. And I'm frustrated because I feel like I'm doing everything I can to be open, to communicate, to work through this, and she's just shutting me out. At this point, I don't know what to do. I love her. I love our son. But I can't keep pretending like this doesn't bother me. I can't just get over it because she decided that's what I should do. So, Reddit, AITA for admitting that I'm still upset? Am I being unreasonable for not being able to just let this go?